Let's move on to number 3. First of all, we're gonna pre-compose everything and name it clip number 2. Yes, so we have everything clean in that comp, and this comp should be in our main comps, right? Yes, but here we can move the other comps like that. So we really have only our main comps in here. We can also like copy the vignette on the comp before in here as well. Yes, to make it look more like the Apple Vision Pro. And open up number 3. Yes, here we are, number 3. We tracked a couple of minutes ago, like with the tracker, the 2-point tracker, but I'm not 100% happy with that result. So we are going to track with the 3D tracker again, but a different method. For this tracking method, we are going to turn off the layers, and we are actually pre-composing the base clip. So yeah, we want to move all attributes and call it original clip and enter. We go inside that clip and we need to draw a mask, but first we need to create a black solid, and then opacity to 0 of the black solid. And now we want to mask out an area. We want to 3D track, but it should not happen a lot of motion there, like motion blur going on. So that's why we are masking an area here, which we are going to track after. So let's now open up the mask path, like slightly feather it, and now we are going to drag that mask around that area. So we make sure that the hand doesn't get into the frame. So we only tracking the scooter like that. Boom. Let's go forward in time here. Boom. Here. Boom. And make sure the fingers are not inside. All right, nice. We are finishing this track and making sure everything is in place. Add like that. Here it's going to be really hard. So yeah, let's see how this is going to perform. And now we can increase the opacity, boom, and go into the mask options and invert this mask. Nice. Going into our main comp again. And in here, of course, this is the rotoscope. We can apply the 3D camera tracker, advanced detailed analyzers. And let's see how this is going to turn out. Hopefully we are going to get a better track than with the 2-point tracker. This method is good, like when you have like a lot of parts going on, they're moving in the frame, and you still want to 3D track a certain area. You can just, like we did, create a composition, create a solid, and darken it around. And yeah, let's see if it worked. View, show layer controls, and make sure the tracker is selected. And it's looking good. Yeah, this is a pretty solid, good track. Now we have the track created. We can now jump back into our main comp here and just turn on or turn off the black solid again. Or we can copy that base clip, or we could have duplicated it before and paste it on here. So yes, let's delete the track we did before, and this is looking really solid. Yeah, I mean, we have one shake here, I'm not gonna lie, that's shit, but it's definitely better than the other track. What we can do is we can delete the track and start it again. Boom, camera tracker, go here and maybe select all of the points, create a solid, and see how. Yeah, we're still gonna have that shake. I don't think we're gonna get 100% rid of it, maybe the points down here. Same. Maybe these ones here. Now we're still gonna have it. So, but that's fine for me, really. I don't think it's a big problem because we are riding the scooter. But maybe we could have tracked one more option, because I cut out this part. Let's create another solid black one. Go down. And let's mask out the area down here. I don't think there is a lot of camera shake going on down here. So let's mask out this part like that. Yes. And make sure we are going to make a keyframe, adjust if needed. That. At the beginning we have that movement going on like that. Maybe it's going to give us a better track, because I don't think it's moving a lot down there. Because up here I'm shaking with my hand. I think that's what's causing the problem. So let's increase that again. Go back and turn off this clip. And now we can analyze again. Let's see if that gives us a better result. Yeah, let's use these track points here. And yes, we have a clean track. Boom. Yeah, even when the scooter is shaking, that it's not affecting our solid noise. So that time was definitely worth it. Yeah, that's looking rock steady. Love that. Nice. So we can move it below our roto. Activate the rotoscope. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. This is some solid track. So you see, it just sometimes takes a couple of different methods, try and error, see what's working, and yeah. But like taking the time for that process, I think that's really what makes a difference, what can separate you from other creators, because they don't take the time. If you take the time, it's cool. It's nice. So let's start building the UI. First of all, I think we can bring in the apps again. I think it's always a good starting point to bring in the apps. So go to the screenshots, apps, boom, bring them in. Make it a 3D layer, copy the track solid position onto the apps, boom. And also the orientation, I think, because we already, yes, nailed orientation, looking good. Why is always turning off the show layer controls? I don't get it, man. Now turn it back on, reposition it, maybe scale it up, and make sure the hand rotoscope is all the way on the top. Yes. But I'm clicking. So I do actually two motions. Because you have to think of something that makes sense. So where do I click? On the browser. What do I want to browse? I'm driving. Let's add the grid here. That's a good question. Always save your project. What are we going to add here? I need to reposition the buttons. But yes, that's pretty much it. We need to reposition the buttons. So for that, we open up our smartphone, and now on the bottom, we can actually reposition our buttons, right? So let's move the Spotify to the second icon. Nice. Let's do a screenshot again. Fire up this screenshot on our computer. Love AirDrop, man. It's the only reason I'm using Apple. No. It's the MacBook is just a workhorse. If you wonder, I have the M1 chip Pro Max, 32 gigabytes, and yeah, I do everything on that laptop. Literally, I'm traveling a lot, so do everything on that laptop. Let's import that screenshot into our right folder. Go to downloads. Here it is. We call it number 2 screenshot. Boom. And drag it in here. Yes, boy. Nice. Number 2 screenshot goes into screenshots for sure. We open up the apps, and since we are working with compositions, look at that. We are just dragging in the screenshot, the second one. We are copying the position of the one we did before. You know, we imported the screenshot before, boom, and it's matching to 100%. I love that. We can just turn it off, and now for the track mat, we use the mask, and boom, everywhere is changed. You know, we can go back into our comps here and here. Everything is changed. I love that. That's so nice because we work with comps. You just change it in one comp, and yeah, we can just export it again from here, and we have it here, 100% accurate. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So now we're good to go. With a couple of seconds, we changed it. Now we can select Spotify. Now's the question: what do we want to do with Spotify? Do we want to listen to music? So I'm actually, yeah, I'm picking Spotify. So might need to create some animation there. Might just need to separate that logo, and the logo maybe flies up into the middle. If I open up Spotify, it's going to look like that. So let's screenshot that. Don't judge me for the playlist, guys. Yeah, we can actually open up the top corner here. These playlists we can show. So I just did some screenshots so I can use the UI. I'm sending these screenshots now to my phone. 2 screenshots I want to send. So I pretty much love to use UI from my phone or screenshotting it from the MacBook because, you know, it's Apple and it makes sense to use Apple screenshots in there. So let's move these screenshots into the right folders. Downloads, open a new tab, and we have number 1 Spotify, and we have number 2 Spotify. Boom, boom, screenshots, move them here. Let's create a new comp, 1080 by 1350, and call it Spotify. And in here, we are going to drag in this screenshot. Looks pretty nice. We can create a shape again, like we always do. We can actually just, probably we can just cut it out nicely, like that. Or maybe yes, we can actually just cut it out like that, and now we can position it in comp number 3. We call it Spotify number 1. Drag it in, make it a 3D layer, copy the position of the apps, boom, Spotify. It always turns off. Is there a shortcut I'm accidentally using? I don't know. Boom. So we just open up Spotify. Amazing. Cool. So let's move on, creating more elements to make it more realistic. So we have the bar here at the side, looking good, but how if we convert it into screen? And we can also do the same like we did for the mask here. Copying the blur plus darken in the second comp, put it in here, and actually duplicate the Spotify and name it the mask. And here we choose for the track mat the mask Spotify one. Yes, and I think this is looking pretty good. Maybe lighten. What if we make it normal and bring down the opacity even more? Nope, I want to have it still sharp. So add. Let's play around with some modes. What if we increase the contrast on that even more? Exposure, highlights, and the shadows, or increase the darkness here. Okay, let's put the darkness to minus 0.5. How can we make it pop even more? In this case, you probably don't even need the mask and the blur plus darken, because I think it's looking good just setting the mode just to 90. I think that looks totally fine in this case to open up the app. So let's move on with some more parts. Let's create a bar. Maybe this top bar. So we create a new comp with the second Spotify. We are masking this part. Hello, Keanu. You can actually maybe we can just go with that part. How does that look? Oh no. Let's separate things so we can animate it better in the end. So we're just gonna go for this bar. We are centering that bar for that tip. And in the composition settings, we can actually go down in height to like 1000. It's totally fine. And get in the second clip, set the opacity to 90, and copy the position of the first Spotify. Noise, and now first make it a 3D layer, otherwise the position is gonna get a little bit fogged up, to be honest. So this is nice, but I think we need to create another mask because this mask doesn't look nice. Something, maybe something like that. So we delete the mask here, we create a new shape, and we are gonna draw this shape on that and increase the roundness. Now, as you know, for the matte, we choose the shape layer, but we need to scale down a little bit so we can clean it up even a little bit more. Yes, this is good. Looking way better. Yes, that's cleaner. So let's copy actually the rotation of the apps comp we have, so it doesn't look like oriented wrong. Well, I think we should copy this position from the second Spotify comp onto our apps because it's looking way better. Okay, no, maybe something in between. Something like that, maybe. Let's see. Yes. Nice. That's cool. That's cool. Got it, got it. Maybe also the orientation for the piece here. So everything looks more combined together. Move this one up too. Nope. Go up here. Because I also think we can move a player inside here. Let's turn off the track solid. We don't need it anymore. And we can add a heavy vignette to make it look more like we actually open up the app and something changed. Yes, adjustment layer, we create a new adjustment layer, call it vignette, apply the vignette effect, yes, and make sure the vignette effect is below everything we've created. So when we choose the app, like boom, now we want the vignette to pop in. Like here is it on 0, and here it comes in, boom. Yes, boom, app opens, app opens. Nice. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So let's make the Spotify icon pop. So we are actually need to cut out the icon. So I think the easiest part is actually creating a shape, maybe without a stroke. We call this one mask. Maybe we can just like mask it. That's probably going to even be easier than that. Copy, we call it icon. And we are just masking the borders. So we're gonna mask it quickly. Of course, you can also just click here on the edge and like smooth the curves like that. It depends what you prefer. There are like a couple of ways of masking. But sometimes I feel like I get better results just drawing the curves like that. I don't know. It depends on my day actually. So today we're going to make it like that. Cool. So now we have that icon here. We can choose Nomad, and now when we animate it, we should actually be able. Why did we? How? Come. Because. Okay, I got it. Because we copied the wrong. Yeah, we copied the wrong screenshot, of course. We can delete this screenshot. And for the icon, we copy that mask because on the exact same position, yeah, we duplicate this clip here and then name it icon again. Because I was just masking the wrong screenshot, we replaced that one, and now it's going to work. And one thing we need to do is we need to reframe the anchor point, but where it is? Show me my anchor point. Where are you? Here are you, my friend. We need you in the center of that icon. So now, here we need to do the same. And if we now scale up, boom, it should pop. Okay. Nomad. And now, why it does not move? a good question. Here, I think we just need to recreate that mask. I don't know, somehow it just completely fucked up. Okay, let's center that anchor point, and where's that mask? That's all the way at the bottom. Let's drag it up. Man, sometimes just things get really messed up. What is that? Okay, this doesn't make sense at all. So let's just do it again. Wow. Now let's just mask out the Spotify logo again. Now we can press Option. And we can draw this line, boom. Yes, we made it. Awesome. Cool. So now we can create that scale bump when selecting Spotify. So maybe increase it by 120. Looking good. Keyframe is out and is in. Okay, boom. Yes, it should happen way faster. Again, faster. Nice. And we want to add a Lumetri color effect again. Exposure, stopwatch, copy, paste, copy, paste, and increase it to 1 or maybe 2. Yes, and also ease out and ease in these keyframes. And let's see how it looks. Yes, looking good. On comp 3, let's see when we... Well, that actually totally fine. Here we can actually change the anchor point of the windows open up from Spotify. Same on the one here on the top. And now when we here, they should be on 100%. Let's make a scale keyframe here on 0. Keyframes should be eased out and eased in. Let's see how that looks. Happens way too fast and looks really random. So let's a little bit longer and smooth the keyframes. It looks way cooler. Like that. Boom. Nice. Nice. Boom. But let's have a little bit of delay. So nice. And we need to add a motion blur to them. So it looks natural. We can even like make the apps pop out at the beginning. So let's add a keyframe here for the scale. Nice. Smooth the keyframes and of course always activate the motion blur on the layer and in the comp. Move this one a little bit forward in time so it's like already popping in. Yep. Going definitely into the right direction. Now let's make another keyframe for like the player. Make another screenshot, and this one we want to transfer to our computer as well. Nice. We received it. And a pretty cool thing is we can actually make the apps here disappear. Go back to 0. And we can bring in, oh no. And we can bring in the Spotify play bar here. So Nice. So it's all about playing around with different ideas and like animating the UI. So the last one, it's probably the last one we do for this one. I don't want to overload it like crazy. That's the one, V2 play bar into screenshots, V2 play bar into screenshots, V2 play bar, we're gonna create, boom, boom, boom. And in here we can, maybe we can just use the default masking and the composition settings, or just decrease the height to, I don't know, 500 should work for that. Here, go to align, and we're gonna center everything, looking not too bad. And now, boom, we want the play bar to pop in where the apps are. So copy the position of the apps, play bar, make a 3D layer, and paste the position. Yes, and also the rotation, that's orientation, that's really important. Boom, import, upscale, scale. And now it can actually pop in scale. Here's on 0. Smooth it. Boom, boom. Nice, activate motion blur. Yes, and we can also add the time, and I think adding the time here makes definitely sense, and we are good to go, I think. Time, bring in this comp and make it a 3D layer, and motion blur, position, show me that position, boom, time, position, copy that, and the orientation as well. Scale it up. Boom, boom. You can actually decrease the scale a little bit, maybe to 200, so it's not too present. I think that's pretty cool. Let's also add the shadows for the time here. Let's call this one shadow. Bring it back in position a little here and copy the boom boom shadow time effects we have here. Copy, paste them on, boom, and decrease the opacity to something like that. Nice, guys. I'm happy with that. I think that's looking pretty damn cool. Maybe we can add some blur for the vignetting to finish things up. You think? We add some vignetting. Let's add the camera lens blur and increase it to around 10. Now when we draw a circle mask here like that, let's center this mask, and we want to invert the mask for sure and smooth edges like crazy. Oh, what happens to the position? 1080 by 1920, please. Thank you. And we can also change the max expansion, so maybe something like that, and increase even a little bit more. So now we see the borders of, yeah, now if we turn it on and off, we definitely see a difference. So boom, it's coming in, boom, it's coming in. I'm tipping here So maybe we should add some last little thing to the play bar. Here, we're gonna add the Lumetri color effect. Again, keyframing the exposure. Copy that on 0, set it to 2. Just at the end. Let's see how that looks. Yes, that looks very well. You see that little tick that makes a difference. I love that. Nice, I'm happy. So let's pre-compose everything. We call it number 3 clip main. Nice. So let's see what we've done. We have this one is number 3. Yeah, really impressed by how everything turned out. I know it's been a long tutorial, but that's a live session, guys. I didn't know exactly how everything is going to turn out, but that's the process. I just start. It's so important to just start, create, and trust the process. I'm super happy with the outcome. Now we have all the 3 comps ready in After Effects. So now my process is to export everything and bring it back into Premiere Pro. Here I've built everything. This one turned out to fit pretty well. And here I just replaced basically the clips. So and add some text at the beginning. So I just want to make it more Instagrammable or like more social media like, with the clip at the beginning and the clip at the end being catchy. In the middle, just have crazy HUDs, make it look really realistic. Boom, that's nice. So I just tried really a lot of songs, and this one turned out to be my favorite because I want to have that good vibe. Everything is cool, you know. Now I just export everything in After Effects. My settings here, or my process here, is go to export, add to render queue, and then we can delete these two. Here I'm choosing QuickTime. I'll leave the rest like that. Best settings is fine for me. That works. Everything cool. I just choose the output, and this one is number 2, right? Yes, it's number 2. Direct to my ProRes folder. This is the version 2 of number 2. All right, go to comp number 3. Do the same here. Export, add to render queue. Choosing the QuickTime format again, because QuickTime is awesome. You keep the quality, and V2 number 3 clip. Boom. And the last one is the number 1 clip. This one I need to export again because we changed that bar here. So I want to have everything to look the same. Boom. QuickTime here. Okay. Number 1 comp V3 is this one, because of this one I exported yesterday night. So check it. Start rendering. And now with the ProRes files, we have no lost in quality importing them into Premiere Pro. Now I stitch everything in Premiere Pro together. Just add the clips here, make some fine adjustments. I just added some adjustment layer here. On this adjustment layer, I add the effect Looks by Red Giant. You see that slight difference just makes a small difference, but I love it. And in here, it's super easy to add edge softness, for example. You see, it just gets applied. You see it up here in the corner. Did add a lens distortion, because after all, adding a lens distortion makes it look, you shot everything on the same lens, on the same camera, which is exactly what I want. I also add another vignette just to make it look more like wearing that Apple Vision Pro. And you have all different tools, just quick access. You can add anamorphic flares, you can add optical diffusion, and just helps to sell the compositing, the effects we've created. Yes, that's just, yeah. some small changes to make everything fit in together. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add sound effects. And yes, that's pretty much it. And just go to Artlist or any other platform, sometimes YouTube, and search for HUD sound effects and whoosh effects. That's basically what I'm aiming here for. Maybe get some inspiration by looking at videos, actually using the Apple Vision Pro, and maybe get some idea of the sounds for the UI sounds, the Apple Vision Pro, and try to find similar sounds to match the experience. And then I basically do the sound design without any music. So I turn off the music, I just look at my visuals and think about what do I want, what do I want to hear, what do I miss, and then create this with the sound effects. And then, boom, everything is nice and clean, and I export everything then in MP4 here from Premiere Pro with the music muted, because I'm adding the music later when I post it in Instagram. I add the music in the Instagram app, choosing from the trending sounds. I always look at sounds that are trending right now, so I don't know if it makes a difference, but in the end, people remember the sounds and maybe stick to your reel because they remember the sound. They want to see what you created on that sound. And yeah, I'm excited how people react on a dude wearing fucking cut apple on a glasses stripped with some strips. I don't know what they call them in English. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully you take something away from these long form tutorials, because I not only want to show you how it's perfectly done, because some clips are going to be different, and seeing the variations of effects and workflows I'm using here, you hopefully find the right workflows for your video, for your visuals, for you. So yes, thank you and see you in the next tutorial, guys.